You know, it's really hard to convince somebody to care about this. I was just talking to a potential partner of mine yesterday who, she's an Indigenous woman. She's like, Katie, you know, you've introduced me to a few different companies, and I'm getting a trend that companies are kind of bending over backwards to create this business case for equity in their organizations. Like they want to see it on a spreadsheet, how it's going to make them money or how it's going to help their business. And yes, I mean, I think the business case for having an inclusive company and inclusive culture is broad strokes by now. I mean, most people understand why it's important. If they don't, then they just don't care. And so I want to work with organizations who don't need me to write a proposal to convince them why they should care. I want to work with organizations who already know there's a problem and they're ready to create a plan.
We hear about wanting more BIPOC people at the table, right? That's what we talk about, bringing people to the table. We want more BIPOC in leadership roles. We want more women in leadership roles. We want more LGBTQ at the table. The concern that I have, how do we show them that there's benefit to them to bring these people to the table? Until the people who have the power and the money see the benefit of having a more diverse group of people at the table, how do we start to make that shift?
That's a really good question. And what I'm hearing is sort of how do we make equity benefit the already widely benefited? Which is just simply not what we're doing. And you're talking, and it's true. Right. And this is corporations, right? These are money-making entities. That's what business means. And this is capitalism. And what I'm talking about will not work in capitalism. And that's what's really frustrating because we all have to participate in capitalism. And my work directly challenges and interrogates capitalism.
Does it interrogate and challenge capitalism or American capitalism?
Crony capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
It challenges crony capitalism.
Yes.
It challenges the people who have that power, who want to keep that power and don't want to give it to anybody else.
Yes.
But for the people who actually want change, the real entrepreneurs know the gap, they understand where the gap is, and they want to change it.
And you're absolutely right, because it's crony capitalism, because the same people who have been benefiting over and over again, this form of capitalism serves to keep benefiting those types of people and to keep taking away from the rest. And I think we were talking about language earlier, and even words like inclusion are being interrogated now, because your question about, well, how do we convince our CEOs, our top 1%, these people these white men who have been benefiting, who are in this position of power, how do we convince them to allow diversity to come to the table? It's actually not really going to work that way. Turns out
it's the wrong question.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that. We did. We talked about the right words, and I used the wrong words, and you immediately made me see that the question was the wrong question.
Because
and I appreciate that more than you know.
Yeah. Well, inclusion centers whiteness still, right? Somebody is doing the including. Who is it? Mm-hmm. And what you're talking about, what we're all here to talk about being an entrepreneur and starting our own entities and pioneering into different spaces and thoughts, like that's building your own table.